Well, let's get more on the big news from overnight that people who are fully vaccinated can now travel freely between Victoria and New South Wales. Steph Ferrier joins us from Melbourne Airport. Mahnaz Anguri is from Sydney Airport today. So, Steph, it's a bit unexpected, this announcement.
Good morning, Mads. Yes, this joint announcement from Premiers Daniel Andrew and Dominic Perrottet only arrived in our inbox at around 8 o'clock last night, and just 4 hours later, at the stroke of midnight, it was already enacted, really allowing much more free travel between our two most populous states. Now, this is because the state's acting chief health officer here has designated under our traffic light permit system all those previously orange zones across New South Wales and the ACT into green zones. And that means that this is the first time in around 6 months that we've had green zones all across Australia for anyone wanting to come into Victoria. So what does it mean? Well, we've already had for a couple of weeks fully vaccinated Sydney-siders being able to come in without having to quarantine. But this now means that we're also going to see unvaccinated people as well being able to come in without any of those testing or isolation requirements. And they will still have to put together a permit which actually says that they aren't COVID positive and that they haven't been in close contact with anybody who is infected, but definitely a much more freeing up of this whole situation. And Premier Daniel Andrews says that it's all possible due to the fact that Victorians have gone out and rolled up their sleeves and got vaccinated. We're now at 92.7% first dose, aged 16 and over of the population, and 82.5% double dosed. So this certainly does mean that he says he's delighted that many more Victorians will be able to enjoy those Christmas reunions. And it might be quiet right now here at Melbourne Airport, but we're expecting around 17 flights coming in from Sydney and Canberra just from Qantas alone.
Oh, isn't that great to hear? Mahnaz, what does this rule change for Victoria and New South Wales mean now for the state where you are?
Good morning, Mads. Well, Victorians have actually been allowed into New South Wales since November 1st, except if they've been at a venue of high concern. Now, the rules on our end are a little bit harsher. As Steph mentioned, although people can go into Victoria and be unvaccinated, that's not the case here in New South Wales. If you're over the age of 16 and you're unvaccinated, you can't come into New South Wales for holiday or recreational purposes. But if you are fully vaccinated, you can come in for those reasons. Now, I've been at the airport here since 5:30 and it was quiet at the beginning, but it is picking up a lot now. I've had a quick look at the screen and there are a lot of flights going into Melbourne, so I'm sure it's very welcome news for people who want to travel between the two states and see family and loved ones. Now, both premiers have said that it's high vaccination rates and low case numbers that have allowed for this to happen. As it stands in New South Wales, we have 89.1% of the eligible population having had their both doses. So that's very welcome news for people in New South Wales, especially as we move towards more easing of restrictions next week.
Yeah, great news for families, great news for tourism, great news all round. Mahnaz, Steph, thank you very much.